Nof Klibberhai, friends. Today, I'm going to make an as complete as possible list of every animated Star Wars character that has made the jump to live action as of October 2023. With Ahsoka at a conclusion, and Star Wars taking a little break due to the delays from the strikes, I thought now would be a good time to do so, since Ahsoka was basically a celebration of Star Wars animation. It's a pretty long list though, so I'll keep it as brief and factual as possible. Our first three are a little technical though, so bear with me, as these were characters first created for live action projects, but appeared in animated tie-in content. Starting with the fourth character is where we get characters developed for animated shows that popped up in live action content later on. Our first character on the list is Boba Fett. Developed for The Empire Strikes Back, he popped up on screen first in 1978 in the Star Wars Holiday Special, before appearing in The Empire Strikes Back in 1980. Developed for Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, General Grievous first appeared in Clone Wars in 2004, before appearing in Revenge of the Sith in 2005. Since both Grievous and Boba popped up in animation while they were being developed for live-action projects, they both differ slightly in appearance between animation and live action. Likewise, being developed for Episode 3, Commander Cody briefly appeared in Clone Wars in 2005, before appearing in Revenge of the Sith later that year. Now onto animated originating characters. Saw Gerrera was a character that debuted in 2011 in the Clone Wars. He appeared in live action in 2016 in Rogue One. Likewise, Chopper was a character from Star Wars Rebels in 2014 who made his live action appearance in Rogue One in 2016 alongside Saw as a cameo, getting a more prominent role in 2023's Ahsoka. Moving on to a few years later, Ahsoka Tano got involved in live action in 2019's The Rise of Skywalker with a voice cameo. Her character dates all the way back to the Clone Wars film in 2008. She went on to appear in the flesh in The Mandalorian Season 2 in 2020, and has continued to appear in other Mandoverse shows since. Simultaneously, Kanan Jarrus also got a voice cameo in 2019 in The Rise of Skywalker, after first being created for Star Wars Rebels in 2014. While he hasn't appeared in the flesh as of yet, he does have a photo of himself on the dash of the Ghost's cockpit in 2023's Ahsoka. The Mandalorian Season 2 brought us a live-action incarnation of Bo-Katan Kryze. Bo first appeared in the Clone Wars in 2012, and has gone on to appear in Rebels and now co-starred in The Mandalorian Season 3. Later on in 2022, Cad Bane, who first appeared in the Clone Wars in 2009, popped up in the last two episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. 2022 also brought us the limited series Obi-Wan Kenobi, which reintroduced the Grand Inquisitor, who first popped up in Star Wars Rebels in 2014. The fifth brother was also brought to live action in Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was first introduced in Star Wars Rebels in 2015. Tara Sinube was also brought to live action in 2022 in Obi-Wan Kenobi in a Blink or You'll Miss It cameo. He was first introduced in 2009 in The Clone Wars. Moving on to the next year, 2023 brought us several characters in the live-action shows that were first introduced in animation, or first appeared in animation before live action. The first of which happened in The Mandalorian Season 3. Garazeb Aurelios finally made his live-action debut after first appearing in Star Wars Rebels in 2014. The Mandalorian also brought us one other character before the close of its third season. Gilad Palion was first created for the 1991 novel Heir to the Empire, and had a voice cameo in the series finale of Star Wars Rebels in 2018. He went on to appear in the flesh in Mandalorian's third season. Star Wars Ahsoka's first animated character it introduced to us is Professor Huyang, who initially debuted in the Clone Wars in 2012. Likewise, several scenes later, we get our on-screen introduction to Hera Syndulla, who was first created for Star Wars Rebels in 2014. Our next scene we cut to introduces us to the planet Lothal, and we get to meet its governor, Ryder Azadi, who was first introduced in 2015 in Star Wars Rebels. We also get a brief cameo from Jai Kell, who first popped up in 2014 in Star Wars Rebels. Then we get our live-action introduction to Sabine Wren, who was first created for Star Wars Rebels and debuted in 2014. The final character we get from this first episode of Ahsoka is Ezra Bridger, who popped up in a hologram recording, and he later appeared in the flesh in the 6th episode of the series. He was the main character of the animated series Star Wars Rebels, and first graced our screens in 2014. Moving forward, Hamato Ziono also popped up in the Ahsoka series in the 3rd episode. He first appeared in Resistance in 2018 as a blurred hologram, but in 2019, an episode put a face to the name as he also appeared in a hologram that was not blurred this time around. We also get to meet Hera and Kanan's son, Jacen Syndulla, in Ahsoka's 3rd episode in 2023. He first debuted in the finale of Star Wars Rebels in 2018. In Ahsoka's 5th episode, we get to flash back to the Clone Wars era, where we get to meet Captain Rex in live action for the first time, since at this point his possible appearance in Return of the Jedi is simply a popular but unconfirmed theory. He first debuted in the Clone Wars film in 2008. Our final character on the official list is Grand Admiral Thrawn. Just like Captain Paleon, he was created for 1991's Heir to the Empire novel, and first debuted on screen in 2016's Star Wars Rebels Season 3 episode, Steps into Shadow. He then transitioned to live action in 2023 in Ahsoka's 6th episode. While that concludes the official list of every animated character that transitioned to live action, I want to include a couple of other honorable mentions, if you will. 3 characters from the publishing world and 1 from live action. While publishing actually has a lot of characters that debuted on paper before the screen, most of them are simply inclusions from movies for tie-in media before a film or show's release. There are 3 notable exceptions to this, since they play a somewhat prominent role, or at least a supporting role. The first being Cobb Vanth. He debuted in the 2015 novel Aftermath and made a debut in live action in 2020 in The Mandalorian Season 2. Black Chrysanthemum also debuted in 2015 in the first issue of the 2015 Marvel Comics Darth Vader run. He then debuted in live action in 2022 in the Book of Boba Fett. The final one would be Brendel Hux. He first appeared in the 4th Servants of the Empire book in 2015, a Rebels tie-in. Although his character was mainly created as part of the tie-in backstory for the creation of the First Order, he was never initially meant to appear on screen, at least at first. He then joined the live-action arena in 2023 in The Mandalorian Season 3. The final character I want to mention is Darth Maul, who first appeared in 1999's The Phantom Menace, which, while it was a live-action movie and he was created for live action, he was killed off at the end of the movie, but revealed to have survived in a 2011 episode of the animated Clone Wars series, and he subsequently went on to appear in several episodes of the show, as well as comics based off of the cancelled Clone Wars episodes and the show Rebels. His survival was mainly an animated concept, but was brought back to the silver screen in 2018 in a Star Wars story. And while that's it for the character side, there are still several elements that have appeared in live-action Star Wars that have origins or history from Clone Wars or Rebels, including culture such as Mandalorians, Pikes, Night Sisters, vehicles like the Imperial Light Cruiser, the Imperial Gunships, planets like Kessel, Dathomir, Lothal, Ryloth, and Mandalore, and even weapons like the Darksaber. It's clear that the animation side of Star Wars has had an enormous impact on live-action Star Wars over the last few years, and if the Mandoverse is any indication, that trend is only going to continue to grow more prominent. As Dave Filoni said, there's no live-action Star Wars and animated Star Wars. There's just Star Wars. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. If you liked the video, comment down below and hit that like button. Oh, and check out some of my other videos. I'm sure you'll find them a delight.